two fighter jets appeared from nowhere, flanking a commercial airliner at 35,000 feet. Passengers pressed against windows, phones out, hearts racing. But this wasn't a threat. This was a salute. And the woman in seat 14D, she was the reason why. What you're about to hear is the story of a warrior who never sought glory, never demanded recognition. She spent 3 decades protecting a nation that never knew her name. Today, on a routine flight home, the skies themselves bent to honor her sacrifice. This is her story, and it starts with a middle seat on a half-empty plane. Gate 12 at Charleston Regional. Tuesday afternoon. Nothing special. She walked down the jet bridge like everyone else. No uniform, no badges, no entourage. Just a woman in her mid-50s, navy windbreaker, jeans, leather bag that had seen better decades. Seat 14D, middle seat. The assignment frequent flyers avoid like poison. She took it without complaint. The bag went under the seat. She pulled out the safety card, studied it. Eyes tracking exits, flotation devices, oxygen masks. Not nervous, just disciplined. Procedures existed for reasons that usually involved keeping people alive when systems failed. Around her, the plane filled. Businessman in row 11. Laptop already open. 2 college girls trading earbuds. Elderly couple holding hands with 50 years of practice. None of them noticed her. The flight attendants ran through their demonstration. She listened. She'd sat through thousands of these on military transports. Commercial flights. Helicopters that rattled like paint cans full of bolts. Survival came down to who remembered the basics when chaos erupted. The 737 pushed back. Taxied. The airport fell away. 32 years. That's how long since she'd first sworn the oath. 32 years in places that didn't appear on tourist maps, doing things that would never make it into mission reports the public would read. The leather bag under her seat held the medals, bronze stars, commendation medals, campaign ribbons from conflicts most Americans couldn't name because they were never officially conflicts at all. Those medals weren't going in a display case. They were going home, to the house maintained by a sister who never complained about the empty seat at Thanksgiving, the missed birthdays, the worry. The engine spooled up. The 737 accelerated, lifted. For the first time in 32 years, she was flying home permanently. Service complete. She watched the coastline appear below. She'd crossed this ocean dozens of times. In cargo planes, military transports, once in a helicopter that lost half its instruments over the Mediterranean. But today was different. Today, she was just passenger 14D, anonymous, unremarkable, exactly how she preferred it. 40 minutes in, the cabin had settled into cruise altitude. Rhythm, books, movies. The businessman still attacking his keyboard. She was watching clouds when the pilot's voice crackled overhead. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Rodriguez. If those on the left side could direct your attention out your windows, you're about to see something pretty special. The tone got people's attention. Pride. Reverence. Passengers shifted. Phones came out. She saw them first. 2 dark shapes rising from the horizon, climbing steadily, purposefully. Mathematical precision. F-18 Super Hornets. She recognized the silhouette immediately. Twin engines. Distinctive tail. Aircraft that cost more per flight hour than most people earned in a month. Gusters rippled through the cabin as the fighters drew closer. They banked in perfect synchronization, bleeding speed to match the airliner's pace, then leveled off. One fighter of the left wing, maybe 200 feet away, close enough to see the pilot's helmet reflecting sun. The second position higher and back. Classic Escort formation. Oh my God, someone whispered. Are we in trouble? A woman's voice, tight with fear. No ma'am, the businessman from row 11. That's an honor guard. Someone important is on this flight. The lead fighter pilot executed a subtle wing rock. A dip that in aviation language meant, I see you, I acknowledge you, you matter. Her throat tightened. A flight attendant appeared at her row. Young, mid-20s, practiced discretion. Ma'am, Captain Rodriguez asked me to let you know they're here for you. The escort will maintain position until we land. She nodded once. The fighters said everything that needed saying. Outside, the Super Hornets held formation. Throttle, stick, trim, constant. Micro adjustments that looked effortless, but required thousands of flight hours. The passengers went quiet. That rare collective silence when strangers share something significant. Phone still out, recording, but the energy had shifted. Documentary rather than spectacle. A boy's voice cut through. Dad, why are those planes following us? Military escort, buddy. Someone on this plane did something really important for our country. The boy's eyes went wide. Like a superhero. Yeah, exactly like that. The boy searched immediately. looking for someone who matched his idea of heroes, probably expecting a uniform. Medals, someone obvious. His eyes passed right over her. The flight attendant moved forward, providing context in hushed tones. The passenger in F-14 served our country for over 30 years. This escort is a military tradition. She's going home. The information spread, passenger to passenger, each retelling adding respect, transforming the cabin atmosphere from curious to reverent. Some found her, brief glances, offering privacy with their gaze. Others kept searching for someone in uniform. The fighters maintained their vigil, unwavering, a flying on a guard that spoke louder than any ceremony. She'd seen fighter escorts before, usually for fallen comrades, flag-draped coffins, final flights. But this was different. This was for someone coming home alive, duty completed with honor, promises kept. The miles rolled by, coastline to Piedmont to foothills, geography shifting but character remaining constant. The fighters never wavered. The elderly couple abandoned their crossword, sat holding hands tighter, staring out with expressions that suggested they were remembering other flights. Other times, perhaps their own service. The businessman closed his laptop. Quarterly numbers suddenly less important. He pulled out his phone to text someone. Maybe his daughter, his son. The college girls had woken up. One had tears tracking down her face. Just the weight of it. The recognition of sacrifice she'd never fully understand. The aircraft began its descent. Subtle engine pitch change. Pressure shift. The fighters adjusted immediately, maintaining formation as the airliner dropped altitude. Captain Rodriguez came back on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're beginning our descent into Charlotte Douglas. Those fighters will be with us all the way to the ground. I've been flying for 28 years, and I've never had the honor of piloting a flight with a military escort. So on behalf of American Airlines and everyone in this crew, thank you to the passenger who earned this tribute. Your service means more than words can express. Spontaneous applause broke out. Not polite golf clap, genuine, sustained applause from people who understood they were part of something meaningful. She didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge it, just kept her eyes on the fighters. At 10,000 feet, the fighters made their final gesture. The lead pilot executed a perfect wing rock, more pronounced than before, a deliberate dip that said, "Mission complete, honor rendered. Welcome home, warrior." Then they peeled away, lead banking hard left, wingman going right, both executing barrel rolls as they departed. Contrails drawing spirals across the sky like ribbons. Their distinctive roar became audible for just a moment. Raw power barely contained. They disappeared into the distance, two shrinking silhouettes that merged with the horizon. The cabin stayed quiet for a long moment. The wheels came down. Thunk, hydraulic whine, flaps extended. The 737 lined up on final approach. When the wheels touched down, the landing was smooth, just a gentle chirp of rubber on concrete. The plane taxied toward the gate. And here's where something unusual happened. The typical post-landing rush didn't happen. Nobody jumped up. Nobody crowded the aisle. The cabin stayed seated. It wasn't announced. Nobody said, "Please remain seated," but everyone understood. She gathered her leather bag, stood slowly. The businessman in the aisle seat stepped back immediately, his expression carrying gratitude and awe. She walked toward the front. The aisle felt longer than it should, every eye tracking her movement. A young Marine in row 5, traveling in uniform, stood at attention as she passed. She paused, met his eyes, gave him a nod that said, "Carry on, warrior. Your service matters too." His eyes glistened as he returned the nod. The flight attendants had gathered near the forward galley. All of them, the entire crew. The senior attendant stepped forward. "Thank you for your service, ma'am. It was our privilege to have you on board today." "The privilege was mine. You run a good flight. Professional. That matters more than most people realize." Captain Rodriguez had come out of the cockpit, maybe mid-50s, salt and pepper hair, weathered face. He extended his hand. "Colonel," he said, "I flew F-16s for 12 years before I transitioned to commercial. I know what that escort meant. I know what you had to do to earn it." "Thank you, Captain, and thank you for coordinating with air traffic control." He smiled. "Actually, when I radioed ahead, every controller we talked to bent over backward to make it happen. Nobody questioned it. They all just made it work. Because that's what you do for family." Her throat tightened again. The reminder that the military family extended far beyond active duty. The terminal was busier than the plane. Charlotte Douglas was a major hub. Passengers rushing, families greeting, business travelers power walking. But near her gate, word had spread. Ground crew, gate agents, pilots grabbing coffee. A small crowd had gathered, not blocking traffic, not intrusive, just present, witnessing. She walked through with unhurried pace, not rushing, not performing, just moving with quiet confidence. She stopped at a newsstand for water. The clerk rang it up efficiently, but as he handed her the change, he held eye contact. "Thank you," he said simply. Not retail script, just thank you. "You're welcome," she replied. She recognized a veteran. The haircut, the bearing, situational awareness that never turned off. Near baggage claim, an older man approached. Khakis polo shirt, moving with stiffness from old injuries, retired Air Force if she had to guess. "Ma'am," he said, "that was quite an honor they gave you up there." She met his eyes. They didn't have to do it. No, but they wanted to. That's what makes it matter. 32 years? Reading the timeline in her face. 32 years. Most of it in places that don't make the evening news. He nodded slowly, understanding missions that succeeded because they remained invisible. "Welcome home, Colonel." "Thank you. And thank you for your service, sir." Vietnam. 2 tours. 68 and 70. Different war. Same commitment. They shook hands. Firm despite his arthritis. A warrior's grip. They parted without exchanging names. The deepest connections needed no specifics. Outside, in the pickup lane, a simple Toyota Camry waited. Her sister's face appeared in the window, weathered by years of worry. Glowing with relief and joy, she slid into the passenger seat. For a long moment, they just looked at each other. 32 years of separation collapsed into this single moment. They embraced across the center console, awkward with the parking brake in the way. Neither cared. "You actually did it," her sister whispered. 32 years and you actually made it home. "I made promises. To the country, to the people I served with, to you. I don't break promises." They drove through Charlotte's outskirts as afternoon shifted toward evening. Roads they traveled with parents who were gone now. Landmarks triggering memories of easier times. The house appeared exactly as she remembered. Modest ranch style. Trees taller than they used to be. Home. Inside, the house smelled like childhood. Old wood. Her mother's favorite potpourri. The specific combination that made a place uniquely itself. Photographs line the mantle. Her in various uniforms across the years, standing with units whose designations were still classified, receiving awards at ceremonies the public never attended. A small American flag sat in a place of honor, not from a funeral, from her retirement ceremony 3 weeks ago, held at a secure facility with maybe 30 people, all holding high clearances. She carefully unwrapped the medals. Bronze stars, commendation medals, campaign, ribbons documenting deployments to places that officially were never war zones. Each piece carried memories, decisions under pressure, operations that succeeded, teammates who hadn't made it home. These weren't for display. They were for safekeeping, for rare moments when she needed to remember that what she'd done mattered. Her sister had prepared dinner. Pot roast the way their mother used to make it. Comfort food. They ate at the kitchen table, talking about small things, avoiding big questions about missions, and danger and secrets that would follow her to the grave. After dinner, as twilight settled, she sat on the back porch. The same porch where she'd sat as a teenager, dreaming about adventure and purpose. Above her, stars began appearing. The same stars she'd seen from bases across the world, from forward operating positions, from transport planes crossing oceans at night. But tonight, the stars felt different. She was seeing them from home, permanently, service complete, duty fulfilled with quiet excellence. The fighter escort would become a story that spread beyond that flight. The boy would tell his classmates. The businessman would share it with colleagues. The college girls would post it on social media, in ready rooms at military bases. The story would spread. 2 Super Hornet pilots who'd heard about a retiring officer's final flight and decided that some service deserved recognition. Captain Rodriguez would tell it at pilot gatherings, how every controller he'd spoken to immediately understood and made it happen. The retired Air Force colonel would tell his grandchildren about the woman at baggage claim, a teaching moment about sacrifice and duty and quiet heroes. But for her, sitting on that back porch under stars that finally felt like they belonged to her again, the fighter escort represented something simpler and more profound. It was confirmation that her service had been seen, even when it seemed invisible, that her sacrifices had been recognized, even when they went unannounced, that she'd kept her promises. The military is a family, not perfect, but bound by something stronger than blood. Shared sacrifice, mutual risk, the understanding that when you stand post, others sleep safely. That fighter escort wasn't just a pilots performing a mission. It was the military family saying, "We see you. We know what you gave. Welcome home, warrior. Well done." In the weeks that followed, life would find its rhythm. She'd learned to sleep past 0500 without guilt. She'd rediscover simple pleasures, grocery shopping, reconnecting with friends. But some nights, she'd find herself back on that porch, looking up at stars, remembering the moment when two fighters appeared at her window, remembering the weight of service completed, the satisfaction of duty fulfilled, the pride of wearing a uniform. Even when invisible to everyone around her, she'd spent 32 years as a silent warrior, protecting people who'd never know her name, preventing disasters that would never make headlines, precisely because they were prevented. The fighter escort had made her visible for just one flight. But that brief moment carried the weight of 32 years. It said that silent service still mattered, that quiet excellence was noticed, that America still had warriors willing to sacrifice in shadows. And now, finally, she could rest, her watch complete, her promises kept, her service honored in the way that mattered most, not with parades or speeches, but with the respect of those who truly understood. The stars wheeled overhead, indifferent to human dramas below. But for her, they marked a transition, the end of one chapter, the beginning of another. The moment when warrior became veteran, when duty became memory, when service became legacy. She was home, and it was enough. If this story moved you, if you believe that silent warriors deserve recognition, then honor them by subscribing. Hit that subscribe button, because every week we bring you true stories of men and women who served in shadows, who sacrificed without seeking glory, who kept promises that cost them everything. Like this video if you believe honor still matters. Share it with someone who served, someone who loves a veteran, someone who needs to understand that heroism isn't always loud. It's often quiet, often invisible, but always worthy of recognition. Drop a comment below. Have you ever witnessed a moment when a silent warrior was honored? We want to hear your stories, because every veteran has a story worth telling, and every story deserves to be heard. This is Silent Warriors, where we honor those who served without seeking honor. Subscribe now, because their stories matter, and they're counting on us to tell them.